Hello, Michael.
Becky, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, good. Hold on 1 second. I have to continue here. If you need to make, if you want to make my laptop the co-host, if you want to have one, I'm fine with that. If that's that machine.
Everything was jumping around so much, I had to hesitate because it kept going to other people.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, there we go.
I have to move a couple of things real quick. Hold on 1 moment. I can't see everybody on the screen. Sorry. Okay, there we go. I think that works. All right. Shall we call ourselves, Rita, you're here, and April, I see you too. Shall we call ourselves to order?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Do we have any changes to the agenda in any way? Or Rita, I know you have to leave early. So is there anything that's not those first few items that you would like to change?
No, I'm fine.
Good. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, let's open it up to public comment. Is there anyone? Please raise your hand, physically or on the screen option, if you'd like to make public comment.
I see Jeff's.
Okay. And I see Michael's. So Jeff, go ahead. 2 minutes, remember. Just
yes.
And as long as it doesn't apply to another agenda item.
No problem. No problem with the 2 minutes. Just another quick shout out to the highway department. They finished the Baker Road job, and I'm going to write a letter to you guys. It was really beautifully done. Great cooperation. And so I'll follow that up with a letter, but I just wanted to note it at the meeting.
Noted.
Thank you, Jeff. Michael, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Mine should be quick too. Just looking at the agenda, it looks like at the very end of the meeting, you're going to go in executive session to consider releasing the April 30th minutes, which is great and appreciated. But it looks like you're going to go in executive session and then adjourn. So since there won't be any time, I just want to point out with open meeting law, the way it reads that if you decide to release them, which I think needs to happen, you just have to document that in the minutes of the next
of the open meeting part.
Yeah. So it's somewhere in the open world, it's recorded. So I just wanted to point that out. I mean, if you wanted to come out of adjournment, executive session, and do it in this meeting, that'd be fine too. But one way would be great. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Was there anybody else who had open or had a comment for public comment? No? Okay. All right. The first item on our agenda is police officer in charge, Burgess, promotion to sergeant. Becky, do you want to fill us in or shall I give a small rundown? Although I think you have more information than I do.
Okay. Well, as you all know, Kristen has stepped up since March 6th. when we first were under the impression that the departure of Dan Fernandez as police chief, he would be able to continue on for at least a 6-week period as officer in charge, but the requirements of his leaving required that he step down as a police officer at that point. And since that time, Kristen has stepped up in an amazing way, taking on all the challenges that have faced her, and it being a time when the state has so many more requirements than they've ever had before, making this a really challenging time for Kristen to be in charge of the police department. So I really want to thank her for her thoroughness, her attention to detail, her effectiveness with people, maintaining her role as an officer and visible in town, while at the same time moving ahead with all the administrative challenges of the department. And that being the case, I recommend to the select board that they appoint her as sergeant in the department.
So I could make a motion to promote Sergeant Burgess, officer in charge Burgess, to sergeant.
Okay.
And I will second that.
Okay. Do we have any further questions or discussion?
I just wanted to echo, what Becky has said. The feedback from people I know in town has been phenomenal, and my own personal interactions have really been wonderful. I think this is a really wise choice.
I do too, April, and I want to second that. I was stopped actually today in the pouring rain for someone who gave her kudos for working hard at the lake. So I just want to pass that on.
So the only thing I just pardon my lack of knowledge, what difference? I assume there's some pay differential, but what are the other differences?
One would
versus officer in charge versus sergeant.
Yeah. So one of them would be rank among the officers right now are all equal rank, and this would also increase rank among the officers, since she is playing the leadership role, if I'm correct, right, Kristen or Becky?
Yes.
Okay. So that would be one of the other benefits. Becky, is there anything else?
I think it clarifies who's in charge of the department at a time where there's been other changes and question marks, because we have not yet had the conversations about moving forward with the police as we entertain the police study group. So in this interim period, we want to make sure that there's at least some increase in compensation, and also more authority given, as Kristen registered at the last meeting. Sometimes there's confusion about her rank and if she has full authority for the department. So we're hoping that this will help in the interim till we get the work of the study group done, and also to help compensate for the, she's putting in endless amounts of hours at this point, and we just want to make sure she's fairly paid.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all in favor of April's motion?
Farrell, aye.
Stein, aye.
Peace O'Neill, aye. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Kristen.
Again, I just, if I may, I just want to say thank you again for the trust that you all put in me. And I'm not just speaking to the select board and Becky, all ears listening right now throughout the town. I appreciate your trust, and I'm very grateful. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Okay, moving on. We have a discussion about AMP follow-up. Andrew had sent us an email to engage in further conversation. So that is our next topic. Becky, have you heard anything further from him beyond the email he had sent to the select board?
Well, he's just wondering if, if the select board does want to entertain more conversations. He has been trying to explore whether there's any potential for creative solutions. At this point, I'm not sure that he's found anything concrete. But I guess the one thing that the select board has not yet done is review a real proposal straight from AMP, not that MOU proposal, but what might make up an agreement. And as to the points that Donna made, she felt that it would be important for the select board to make a list of what issues they might be off the table for the town in any kind of an agreement with AMP, and if there are some things that are workable. And I think it's important to have that conversation for the select board to have that conversation with AMP and just clarify once and for all, is there any viability to their proposal or not? And just resolve it in a concrete, simplified manner where the select board lists out its reasons for opposition to it, or if there are some reasons that are, that the select board would want to entertain, what those would be. And just give AMP something concrete to look at. They proposed giving a copy of a similar contract that they would give to any contractor, going back to the operations and maintenance concept. And I think it would be worth a review of the select board to determine, go through it, cross out things, add things, and see what might be left.
Thank you. April and Rita, do you have any thoughts or suggestions on any thoughts?
Yeah, I guess, I go back to the discussion that we had with Donna, and I don't think my position has changed, and that is that it seems premature to be talking, negotiating, outlining any kind of operations, the maintenance agreement, when we don't know what we'd be operating or maintaining. No permits have been applied for, issued, whatever. So, I also think that it's complex enough that us alone, that this select board without, if we had a lot of technical expertise, if we were negotiating, if we were gonna negotiate, we need a lot of expertise. So, I for one am not ready to do this. That's kind of where I think I articulated that at the previous meeting, and just restating it here.
Well, I guess I maybe have a different perspective in some ways. I think that the select board really needs to do due diligence in terms of really looking at what this arrangement could or could not do, even under the context of we don't have a specific, is it going to be 1 solar array, 5 solar arrays? Clearly, if there are no solar arrays, there's no agreement. I mean, then it would be off the table. But I think it is an opportunity to be creative, in how it's looked at, in terms of, really being clear if this were to happen. And I think looking at a sample would be a good starting place. But if this were to happen, what kind of, really understanding the change in the infrastructure. We don't have enough office space for who we have. How would this physically be part of the community? What kind, just exactly what does this look like? And I think it's really important that this be explored, and in no way should this be a money loser for the town. I think that's very important. whether or not it happens. But I think that the select board really needs to do the due diligence and really exploring this out as far as it will go. You know, using the consultants. I agree with you, Rita. You know, what do they call them? Actuaries. No idea what they do, but I think that would be some, you know, somebody to look at the money aspect. You know, is it viable? Is it a possibility? And if not, then no. But I think we really, really, really need to look at it thoroughly before we walk away from it.
And I think I do fall with the due diligence part and making sure that we think it through. I do think we can think it through without an application, because there are some evidence of other solar arrays in other places that have these agreements or contracts that we can look at as an information spot. So it's not completely theoretical in that way. But I think we have to just have the conversation, and this may be a long conversation. It's not going to be, you know, something that's going to happen quickly either. And it doesn't have to start out as a negotiation to start with. It's just gathering information. What might one look like? And then how do we think outside the box if something doesn't feel right for Shutesbury? And how do we, like April, you said, how it can't really be a losing situation if we are going to go forward with it for Shutesbury. But I think we can have those creative conversations now, and as applications become filed and as the projects, if they go through the permitting process and such, then they can be honed in more into a negotiation at that point. But I think it's important for us to get something to look at, just something to ponder, you know. So that's why I'm on it.
I also think that Shutesbury, you know, I don't see us as a little itty bitty town of, you know, that's vulnerable to this huge, horrible corporation. You know, I think that we really can negotiate or look at this from a position of power, really. I mean, it's our say ultimately on this part. You know, the permitting, I think we have to have faith in the solar bylaws that we have passed. You know, that our town has protections, I believe, and a really good group of people looking at it. And I think that this is something that we can negotiate from a position of, you know, not as the little guys, but as, you know, the equal people at the table.
I don't know how we're equal. You know, with the deep bench that AMP has in terms of legal and other expertise. You know, I think the other thing, the other question that, you know, AMP has to answer, or maybe DOER, Department of Energy, State Department of Energy Resources, is my understanding from the meeting that we had back with them in March, was that AMP does not get its standing until it has an executed, its standing in category 1 until it has an executed operations and maintenance agreement. And they want that now. They want that before, you know, as soon as possible, because it gives them standing and puts them in the front of the line. So, you know, my educated guess is they are looking for an executed operations and maintenance agreement before they even submit the permits, before they apply for the permits. And without that, it's kind of, you know, it just doesn't do them any good to, you know, have us sort of saying we're interested, and then that's not what they want. They want an executed.
Absolutely. I think you're probably
right. But I think
and
that's where April gets the point, is now they want us to do that, so we have the more position of power, or the equal at the table.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And I think we have the ability to, you know, to get the resources we need to really look at it. And I do not believe this town is going to jump into anything that is bad for the town. I mean, I guess that's my belief in our community and in our abilities.
Yeah, I don't have that faith. I don't think we have the technical expertise and the, you know, that it would be some significant legal expenditures, but really in understanding what's involved here. So
I think even in the negotiation is, you know, they pay for our consultants. But we have room to move, I think, in this. Mm-hmm. And I'm also not saying that this is something we have to rush. And I think I agree with you, Rita, that they would really like to have this in their back pocket before they move forward, but maybe not. But I think that would be something that they would want. And I speak from this as a person who potentially this literally will be in my backyard. And so my husband and I are not in total agreement, I have to say, in what we're talking about. But I think that, and sometimes you have to kind of step away and think about truly, and I've said this before, you know, the greater good. You know, I love the woods behind my house. I do not own the woods behind my house. You know, the landowner has allowed me access to that land for a long time. But there will be other land, not directly behind my house, but a little ways down the road, that still will be mine to play with. So I you know, it's a scary thing that we're entering. I think it's brought up a lot of emotions in the community, justifiably, because it is a big thing. But I think that this is something that the town really needs to look at, you know, there's carefully. And in the end, I think that it could, if we could negotiate something, it could be good for all of us. And if we can't, then so be it. You know, but I think we have to move forward as the select board on this part. You know, again, the planning board has their aspect. And if we choose not to go forward with anything, then maybe they're off the hook. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. April, since you mentioned it, I also, like with Wheelock, I will have one of these. I will be on a butter on Lady Slipper Lane with this. So, so I'll have two properties abutting two different solar arrays. So, but I do think, like in our last meeting, we admitted we didn't have enough information to go forward. And right. At this point, I think we don't have enough information to say no. So, because we don't know, we don't have enough information. You can't just outright say this isn't something we want to even think about. Because we don't know that we don't want to do that because we don't have enough information. So that's also something I was thinking about this week is we have to do our due diligence, whether we personally agree with this particular thing or if we don't, we have to put our select board hat on and do what might be best for the town and what benefits it might have for the town. So that's where I'm falling on this anyway.
So Michael, I know you've had your hand up, but
we haven't said it's time for public comment. Right. We're still talking.
Okay, good. I just keep seeing his hand.
I know it's over your head in my picture.
So, you know, I guess, you know, I have serious reservations about this being good for the town. And so when I think about, you know, taking on this kind of responsibility and potential liability, I'm not sure that a town of 1,700 people with a mostly volunteer town government is really suited to overseeing 5 small industrial power plants, which is essentially what they are. So that's number one. You know, if it's about money, we do not have to have the public-private partnership. I mean, the 5 solar installations, or however many there end up being, would still pay a payment in lieu of taxes if they got permitted. I mean, then, you know, that's part of the deal. The public-private partnership piece of this for AMP is about the town operating and maintaining. I mean, and they get financial benefits from, you know, from engaging with us for contracting. But I don't see how that really, we have to cover our costs. And, you know, some of the numbers that were thrown out there was a kind of overhead number. I'm not sure, you know, paying for that overhead and paying the expenses for the operations and maintenance is worth the risk. Yeah, you know, the pilot payments, if this were to get permitted and move forward, yes, you know, the solar installations don't except initially, make a lot of demands upon our highway department, you know, and our roads. They don't send kids to school. They don't need, we hope, emergency services. So yes, those pilot payments are very attractive in the sense that, you know, they are income for the community without a tremendous amount of expense, additional expense. But you know, the payments for the, you know, for the overhead and for the actual operation and maintenance, that's just a sort of a carrot that they're dangling out there. And I'm not sure that it's, again, worth the risk.
What if, Rita, what if the contract could be negotiated so that all of those things were covered, plus there was a percentage of the kickback that AMP is going to get from DOR to Shutesbury? What if we were able to creative negotiate those sort of things in this? And if we decide not to now, we won't know if we can do that later.
You know, I still think there's so much that's unknown, and that I, for one, don't feel confident in, you know, in doing operations and maintenance agreement. And what I heard, and it goes now back to March, and, you know, I know Becky was there, Michael DeCara was there, and Deacon, you know, what DOER said at the time is essentially, you know, we're not, there has been no such agreement, an O&M agreement done anywhere in the state. I don't know if that's changed in the last couple of months, I doubt it, that they would not recognize or, you know, be able to really give us a yay or nay on an agreement until they saw, so we, you know, had gone through all the negotiations, and that they would provide some, you know, feedback during the time. But, you know, it's not even clear to me that they would ever even approve of this setup.
And they might not. And Rita, I really appreciate your sort of being, you know, a word of caution. It's like, let's be careful. And I think what you're saying, it may not work. You know, that maybe they can't come up with an agreement that we could possibly live with. But I sort of go back to the idea of due diligence, that, you know, as a select board, looking at this big thing before the town, that it's important for us to at least play this out as far as we can. And if we get to the end and say, this is stupid, we say no. If we get to the end and it's like we've been able to satisfy the needs of the town over their needs, it's our needs are what's most important, then that's a different scenario. But we won't know unless we do it. And I don't think they can trick us into signing anything.
Mm-mm. I don't think so too. And they know we're already cautious too. They know we're already cautious.
Don't we also have the backstop of town meeting? You know, that because it's a 20-year contract, that a special town meeting or an annual town meeting would have to be called. And I don't know if it's a majority vote or 2/3 vote, but I think that's part of our safety net, is we've got town meeting as the backstop.
Yeah, I agree too with that, April too. We're negotiating and maybe setting it up, but town meeting has the ultimate decision. Right. Yeah.
Are we ready for public comment? Do we want public comment?
That's our question first, is do
yes,
we want
do
public
we
comment?
want, how much is it worth it for us?
Because we do have a hard stop for Rita tonight, so we want to make sure we stay within time.
Yeah.
So Rita, what time is it now? It's 6:03. What time do you need to go?
By 6:20.
Okay, so how about we do 5 minutes of public comment, just because it's a hot topic in town and we probably should get some feedback. So Michael, I think I saw your hand first. 1 minute, maybe, and 1.5.
I'll take 1.5, thank you. I'm both baffled and frustrated by the conversation. I feel like this is the zombie issue that doesn't die. Just, you know, on the issue of due diligence, you just spent several months doing due diligence. This process started where Amp and Becky presented something to you that said, here's an MOU, it's not a commitment, sign it. And no one on the select board had the background. You've since had a presentation from AMP, met with DOER, had a presentation about SMART, met with the planning board, and gotten public comments all along the way. So you've done due diligence. And I would suggest you just listen to the recording of the last meeting where my understanding was there was a consensus from everyone on the select board who said, we don't have enough information. Donna said, you shouldn't be doing this now because you don't know enough information. The two things I would say is if you want to get more information, to Rita's point, you have to get consultants, and consultants cost money, and you need independent stuff. But Donna was very clear that you should wait until towards the end of the permitting process. That was sort of what everyone agreed to. And you all said, you know, we don't know enough. And I agree with Rita, you know, they're looking for a signed agreement. And my sense is we have a process in place. Find out what comes out at the end of the pipeline in terms of permitting, and then you can have a conversation. The last thing I would say is, you know, Becky's point about we can think creatively and discuss what's red line, whatever, that ends up being negotiating. You know, you're in negotiations. As soon as you're saying, we'll take this, we won't take that, you shouldn't be negotiating. That's what you said what you shouldn't be doing because it's too soon. So I would just say, watch the recording for last time and listen to what town council said and wait until the permitting's over, or at least almost complete, the hearings are done. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to make public comment? We do have a hard stop. No? Okay.
No, the Leslie Smith.
Oh, Leslie, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you, April.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I've heard people refer to the words, the good of the town, what's best for the town. We hear that a lot. And I think we all want that, but I'm not sure we have a common definition of what does that mean. Is the good of the town purely economical, or is it social, property value, environmental? We need to have, I would like to hear some kind of definition. When we're saying we're doing this for the good of the town, I would like to know what is the definition of that? What do we mean by that? So that's it, because I think there might be 10 different answers for each person here. And I think our whole town would probably be that way, so.
I think for myself, Leslie, I'll answer the question. I think it's a little bit of all of that, where we do have to watch the financial end of town. We have to watch environment. It's a whole encompassing package, and we have a good amount of participation in these meetings surrounding this, but we do have a large a majority of people that aren't here, and they are probably waiting for more information. So we have to keep that in mind too, that, you know, some people come and voice their opinion. There's some people that do it differently and catch us at homes and that sort of thing. So it's also trying to figure out everyone's opinion in town and finding out where that ends up. So it's just a whole package of, it's all those 10 answers wrapped up, and it's not an easy way, not an easy thing to define. One more comment, Sharon.
I just want to say that I've noticed in the woods that they've been surveying since last fall, and they were on our street today surveying possible roads that they have right-of-ways through people's property. And that's so worrisome, and it makes me so worried that there's some kind of big machine that's running forward, and that by the time we sort of educate ourselves, it's going to have all this momentum. And maybe that's a little paranoid, but I've seen that happen before, that, you know, that there's this push. So I'm just expressing my concern about it, that we really be on top of things. And I agree about for the good of the town, like what does that mean, and for the, you know, for everybody. And also I saw Jenny's hand up before, I don't know.
No, I was just clapping for Michael.
Sharon, I've also seen a few surveyors around. I know that there's a few people selling their properties or having the property lines surveyed. So it's it may not be all of it may not be coal related.
This was definitely for the logging company.
Okay.
It was for coals.
Okay.
Because we asked them about it, and they're all around through the woods, already surveyed.
Yeah. They have been for a while. We've got the markers in my backyard of the wetlands that run through the back of my yard. And I think my guess is, I don't know this for a fact, that this is in preparation for their applications, would be my guess.
It may be, yeah. I see Miriam and Leslie. Let's take, can you be quick with a minute? Because we really do have to move on, because Rita does have a hard stop. So Miriam.
I think Leslie was first.
Oh, Leslie first, I'm sorry. It shows up in a different order on my screen.
Miriam, you go first, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that in doing due diligence before getting into the nitty-gritty of what a contract is going to look like, I think that some of the factors that the town needs to explore, including kind of the financial risks, the actuarial analysis, that the town also needs to have some kind of environmental impact assessment, because there's a different layer of responsibility and perhaps legal exposure if there were problems with abutters' wells or some other kind of erosion event that affected other private property. That's different. That's a different layer if the town is engaging as a partner in an operations and management role, as opposed to being the permitting body. And I think that needs to be evaluated. Usually we think about the Conservation Commission and the Planning Board being responsible for looking at environmental factors. But I think in this case, if the select board was going to craft an agreement and bring it before a town meeting, there would need to also be some third-party review from an environmental perspective to help residents understand what liability the town might be entering into. So, thanks.
Melissa, I think we've gotten to the end of our time.
Okay, thank you. It's a good time.
Sorry, Liz.
So let's move on. I think we should move on. And let's talk about the legal support for the building inspector. Becky, I know we need a rundown of this item. Becky?
So this item is closed.
Oh, we don't need to worry about this one?
No. I'm just saying, so you are closing this item because Rita, so there's no vote, right?
Oh, I'm so sorry. That was my fault. That's my fault. Yes, so we should have a motion and a vote to go for. Thank you very much.
And this would be just to set a date to talk with Andrew, and then you can figure out what your next step would be, what you're going to ask him for. Okay. If you see the contract that they already have, to look at it so you can redline it, or just review it for potential liabilities and things like that. You would want to.
So that was my fault. I meant to take a vote. So do we want to set a date? Do we need a motion to set a date? Is this what you're telling me?
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to talk to him again. I think that's what the conversation was all about, but it's gone in a lot of directions since you started.
All right. Shall we set a date? Do I hear a motion to set a date to talk with Andrew and ask him some more questions? And then after that, maybe we make a different decision.
So moved.
Okay. Oh, all right. Rita, do you feel like second? I'll second it if you okay. I'll second it. And then all in favor of setting the date with Andrew.
Farrell, no.
Stein, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Becky, do you have a calendar or do you want to ask him what dates would work for him?
Yeah, I think we're looking at either the 15th or the 22nd.
April and Rita, do either one of those work for you? I don't have my calendar open. Hold on.
I'll be on vacation both of those times, but I can certainly join a Zoom meeting.
I might not. I'll be away on the 22nd, and I might not have internet access. So the 15th would be better for me.
Okay, and I think the 15th works fine for me too.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so now we'll move on to discuss the legal support for the building inspector.
Okay, so the situation here is about over a year ago, the assessor discovered that there was a house being built in the woods off Montague Road. And in conversation with the building inspector, it was confirmed that absolutely no permitting has been done for this property. And there was a cease and desist orders sent out by the building inspector. Consequently, the owner of the house who built the house on a relation's property met with the planning board, and they had a lengthy discussion with his lawyer present. I called Deacon to confirm that was the only conversation that was had with the Zabcos. And then the reason I did confirm that was the only conversation was because the Zabcos had represented to the building inspector that they were waiting on feedback from the planning board. And from what I understand, there has been no further contact. And so there is not any expected feedback from the planning board on this issue. The building inspector would like to move ahead with legal action because I believe that the building has continued. More has been finished in the following year. And it's still not permitted in any way. And I don't believe their access to the property has been, they have not found a way to have access to the property. So that problem is still there. And for there to be legal action, the select board needs to authorize our town attorney to support the building inspector in his process following the cease and desist order.
Okay.
So I'd like to make a motion to provide legal support for the building inspector regarding this illegally built house.
And I'll second that.
Okay. Any further questions or discussion?
Is this going to be Donna, or it's Donna?
It's Donna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has worked on other situations similar to this in other times.
Okay.
Not quite this bad, but similar.
Okay. Do we want to take public comment on this item? Do we need to? Okay. All right. All in favor of letting the building inspector use counsel?
Farrell, aye.
Stein, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Okay. And then the next item is the assessor department staffing.
Okay, so I'm not sure if
I don't see Kevin if you're looking for Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin he may be on before we finish up. So what is I'm sorry?
I'm on my phone.
Oh, hi, Kevin.
Oh, Sparky's iPhone. Okay.
That's me.
Hi, Kevin.
Okay, go.
Melissa, do you want me to give an introduction and then
yeah, go ahead.
Kevin can answer questions?
Yep.
So what has happened is Kevin has been offered a job, a 30-hour-a-week position in another town near where he lives. He feels that he can continue on at least part-time here and would like to do so. I have reached out to talk with Leslie Bracebridge, our current assessor's clerk, and we are looking at potential changes to the job description to kind of flip some of the, increase the hours potentially for the clerk's job, and maybe retitle that job as a assessor assistant, and have that person in the office more regular hours to make up for if Kevin were to go from the 20 hours down to 12. And the other person would go up from about 12 hours to 20 to make sure we still have the office presence. And with that person's responsibilities increase some, and have Kevin continue as the administrative assessor and continue the good work that he has done in organizing the department. So that's a potential proposal at this point.
So does that mean writing a new job description because we don't have that position?
Yep, and I have a draft that Kevin has already prepared.
I'm not surprised.
I will be sending that out, and the personnel board is scheduled to meet on Thursday night to review that and give feedback on what they think about these potential changes.
So we don't need to vote at this point. We'd wait on the personnel committee first.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
This is just an opportunity to share the news, and if Kevin wants to jump in and share his thoughts. Are you still there, Kevin?
Yes. I just wanted to say also it would be within the exact same budget dollars.
That was my question.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we sketched out would be with the flipping in the hours and some small changes, but basically covering everything similar to what we are now, and having just who is in the office would be changing and their responsibilities would be increasing.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Congratulations, Kevin, on the new job. And
yeah, congratulations.
I think.
I'm sorry you're. Yeah. Sorry, I have to go.
Okay.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Okay. Good night.
And but are you sure this is a reason? This is reasonable because you understand this job so well. So I really trust your judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're proposing.
Yes, and there's no way I want to leave you guys in the lurch in any way, shape, or form. I think this proposal works.
Okay.
I think so too. Thank you for being creative, Kevin.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. All right. So we'll move on to the next one and discuss the Juneteenth holiday. So this is to add the Juneteenth, which I believe is June 19th, to the holiday list of paid holidays for town employees.
Yes, that's and it would be, I guess each town can determine whether these are regular paid holidays or just a holiday in name with no time off. I haven't found an example of that yet, but I'm looking.
Of which way, the no time off or the
no time off? The towns that I've heard back from are treating it as every other state holiday.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do I hear a motion, April?
Yes, you do. So I move that the town of Shutesbury officially recognize Juneteenth holiday for all town employees. Does that include school? Or is
They're
that
out
just
by
municipal?
I think they're out by the 15th this time.
Yeah, and the school DESE has already taken over that authority and determined that all the schools will receive it as a paid holiday.
Okay. So this be for the municipal employees as a paid holiday. Are we assuming this is on the date, on June 19th?
Yeah.
Good. It's one of those holidays.
Yeah, it follows the calendar.
Yes.
So I will second that without Rita being here. Is there any further discussion or questions?
I think it's a great idea. I'm glad we can do this.
Yeah, there's a ripple effect certainly in colleges too. So, all right. So all in favor?
Stein, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. And the next item is our, I always say this wrong, victrolas license.
Ventriloquist.
Yeah, that's what it makes me think of.
Me too.
So this is so they can serve food, right? Where are you, Linda? There you are. Go ahead.
Questions.
Okay, so the problem is that I told Mark Olszewski 6:35, and
oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. About 10 minutes ahead. So,
all right. So maybe we do minutes.
I know he's coming, but
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I move that we approve the minutes from April 27th, 2021.
Oh, we did that already.
It's the May 6th ones.
So, yeah.
Oh, yes. May 6th.
Okay.
21.
I will second that. And are there any edits or corrections that need to be? No.
Very captured I thought they captured the meeting very, very well.
I did too. And
so
we are very lucky to have. We're very lucky to have Linda and Becky helping us with those. So thank you both for your help and work on them. So all in favor of approving the May 6th minute?
Stein, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
And we have the May 11th minutes as well?
Yeah, you do have them. They're not on the agenda though.
Okay.
Oh, we have to hold off on those.
Yeah, Mark, I can see that Mark is here now.
Oh, Mark, there you are.
Hello.
Hello. We were just about to talk about the athletic club victrolas license.
Okay.
And I was asking Linda for an update. I have it right here, so I can sign it as soon as the discussion is over. Linda, this is just, I believe this is to serve food. That was my question I asked before Mark had joined us.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it is to serve frozen and prepared food.
Mm-hmm.
And I provided you with a little bit of background in the email that Catherine Hilton of the Board of Health provided me, which is that Claudia Lucas, the health agent, is responsible for issuing the food service permit, which the club has submitted for, and maybe Mark has an update on that. And the Board of Health agreed in principle that it is okay for the SAC to serve food provided they are properly licensed. So,
okay.
Yeah, and I have responded to Claudia. We're kind of going back and forth in an email. She said she was going to reach out to me this week to schedule an inspection, but I haven't heard from her. But that's basically where it stands. She said she's got our permit, our food permit, or application, and she just needs to come over and inspect the club at this point.
Okay. All right. So I think April, all we have to do is vote on this. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move to sign the common victualers license for the Shutesbury Athletic Club.
Okay. And I will second that. Any further comments or discussion? All right. All in favor?
Stein, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Okay, so in Melissa's box is a red folder with the license in it for both of you to sign.
And I'd hold it out before meeting. So here, I've put mine on there already. I'll put it in April's box or Rita's box.
Okay. I will get this done.
So Mark, once it's done, I'll let you know.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You can come and pick it up.
All right, that sounds great.
Yes, this is really good news. It's like, you know, it's coming back.
Yep, yeah, it is. We had a very good turnout last weekend, so it was a lot of fun.
Normalcy.
Yes, normalcy.
Normalcy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, thank you. All right, have a nice night.
You're welcome. You too. Becky, moving on to opening up town hall discussion. Go ahead.
I don't see Catherine here. She said she was going to attend to help advise us. So if you could go, let me just call her on the phone.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we can even take a pause in a moment to give Linda's hands a break for a moment.
Thank you.
I don't think we have anything else to slip in.
No, we have the executive session, but we can wait for that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we should wait for that. I'm gonna, if there's something making noise over here, I'm gonna make sure it's not something that needs to be taken care of. I'll be right back. No, it's not, it's rain. It's only the rain hitting the window. I thought it might be a little mascot.
I've been thinking of you. These have been not your favorite kind of weather days, I think.
No. Nope. I've been sitting at home hibernating in the air conditioning on high. It's when I wish I could go to the office because they had much better air conditioning than I have. So,
when are you going to be going back to the office? Do you have any idea?
Well, discussions are starting to talk about them. First is anyone related to student services as students would come back for fall, and then I think then my office would be sort of in the latter stages of that. So maybe sometime in August.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, my husband hasn't stopped working, so he's been going every day.
I'm noticing that Penny Jakes has her hand up, and I don't know
Penny.
if we want to acknowledge that or
Penny?
If that's in error or.
It's not in error. I just have a quick question. My question is, will the select board be discussing Tessa's resignation tonight?
We probably will under administrator updates is usually sometimes where we put those.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, because they just came in, so our unexpected business.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
It is.
It is. I feel like the whole world is sort of in job flux, you know, with so many jobs opening up or that are open and need filling. I think there's a lot of flux in the world.
Okay,
Becky, do you have an update?
So let's proceed without Catherine. I think her schedule isn't jiving with ours. So, so what I would like to propose, and then we can make sure the Board of Health is in agreement, but I'd like to propose reopening the building the week of the 21st. June 21st, to give us a week to prepare after town meeting.
I think that's reasonable. I was just looking at the calendar.
And I think as the big question people are going to have are going to be around wearing masks. And I think we can ask people, we can say, please wear a mask. I guess there's an issue if you qualify it with saying if you're not vaccinated. I think we can make that clear for employees that if they aren't vaccinated, we can ask them to please continue wearing a mask. But as far as people coming in the building, we can make it a request. We can't enforce it. but I think it's worth making the request just because of the different variants of the virus that do exist. And but as long as we can't enforce it, we'll continue to make sure our employees are comfortable with their decisions, and that they have office spaces that they're comfortable in.
Yeah, I think that's important. And then just with a note that says, you know, masks are encouraged.
Yeah.
You know, in a friendly way.
Yeah, we can just encourage, but we can't enforce. Linda had a question.
Oh, Linda, your hand up. Yes. So I'm just wondering if we'll have things like keeping a list of who comes in, you know, or
like when you go to a restaurant and you give them their phone number as you come in, because it was,
you know, and you know, like just to because we folks can only be requested if there could be markers, 6-foot markers on the floor, some, you know, like things, I don't know if it's possible, but just to kind of, you know, because, you know, the upstairs is small and narrow, and you know, to keep a flow. I'm not that there are that many people that come in, but just, you know,
I'm afraid, Linda, I think we're going to have to, you know, if we're going to open up to people coming in,
yep.
The traffic, you know, I think people just need to be aware not to leave their offices if they're not comfortable. If there are people in the building, I don't, you know, trying to keep people 6 feet apart is going to be problematic. We're not going to have a rush of people coming. Well, we could.
Everybody.
As long as we don't have trash bags here, I can't imagine having too many people show up. That's our biggest draw. But I think we do need, I don't think we can really cut the building up into a lot of pieces that way. We can ask the Board of Health's recommendation, but outside they're continuing to ask for social distancing at annual town meeting, where we set up the chairs. So we can try that, but I'm not sure about marking the hallway is going to have a great impact. We can.
Okay,
I do have a suggestion that I don't know, Linda, if this is what you were thinking, but if someone was uncomfortable meeting someone in their office, maybe they could use this conference room as a place to meet, where one could sit on one end of the table and the other, if that was, you know, just as a, it was just a thought. So like, you know, if Becky, if you, and I'll just use this example, it isn't necessarily how you feel, but if you, you know, didn't want to meet someone in your office and you could meet them in here, it gives a little more space, you know. That's all.
I think if people aren't comfortable utilizing the space that has the best air ventilation downstairs,
okay,
is what we've been doing throughout the pandemic. There's no reason to stop doing that. If we have an appointment with outsiders, we can direct them down there.
That's perfect.
The conference room does get a lot of traffic between the Board of Health clerk and the
yeah, I was just thinking as you were saying that, I'm thinking, oh, there might be other people in here. So so nix the conference room spot, but the downstairs, you know, it was just an example.
Yeah.
To move it out of people's offices, you know, into the more.
So what is the thinking about meetings with committees and boards? Where and larger gatherings?
We do have the ability to continue to meet remotely until September. I think the first month, as we open up the town hall, I would propose that we not consider any meetings in person until July. See how the first couple of weeks go of reopening, and then determine, you know, if smaller meetings can happen. Because if we still are required to social distance, we, you know, if we couldn't entertain the, you know, the 24 people we had at this meeting in the select board room downstairs, if we go, if we open up the building. So we can't entertain that many people with social distancing. So I think there's cause to continue on the bulk of our meetings with remote participation as long as we can, but that we also want to keep in mind there are a couple committees that have really struggled to meet remotely, and see if we can provide spaces for them, maybe hybrid meetings where they meet in person but can remotely be accessed by the public if we can't fit the public into those meeting spaces.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that idea.
And I also have, I believe that Tessa is here. Is that you, Tessa?
Yep.
Yes. Hi, Tessa.
Hi.
I want to jump in here. I know we have, is everybody pretty good on the issue of reopening, or can we move on to another topic?
Yeah, I think it's a good plan. And I think it's flexible as we go forward. So we've been flexible for a year and a half. We can be flexible going forward. So, okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we can move on.
I just want to mention that yesterday I received Tessa's resignation as our land use clerk. And I just wanted to give her a chance to speak to the board tonight. I know we're all gonna miss her deeply. Tessa?
Yeah, thank you, Becky. Can you guys, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity for letting me be a part of Shutesbury. I've learned a lot. It's been, especially getting to work with the 3 different boards, has been really valuable, and I really want to thank you for that. I have accepted a full-time position with Mount Grace Land Trust. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer it. I'll be working closely with Becky and Linda in this week and next week, to try and get things in shape for departing.
We'll call it a transition.
Transition.
Yeah. And we do wish you the best, Tessa.
Yeah.
And thank you for all your work. We appreciate it. I'm sorry, April, I cut you off.
No. It's hard, I think, to pass up this full-time position that you're looking at. But your stay here you've really been awesome, and you will be missed.
Thank you. Yeah, I did not take the decision lightly. I know we're facing a very busy time in Shutesbury. So
yes.
And
I see Michael has his hand up, and Tessa worked with them. So Michael, would you like to comment?
Yeah, 2 things. One, I'm just hearing about it. I'm very sorry to hear you're going, but it's exciting that you're having a full-time job. And I would agree that you've done a phenomenal job and will be massively missed. So thank you very much for all you've done. And I do have a little question, which is, when is the sad day that you're leaving?
So my last day is June 18th. So the chairs at this point are aware of it, and I was gonna announce it, or start the discussions at the individual board meetings of the different roles that I perform for the different boards, and how that could be divvied up, hopefully to some extent, by members in the interim while there's a search going on. So, and just working closely with everyone to get things
we'll figure it out.
Caught up as possible.
Thank you, Tessa, for everything.
Thank you.
Well, we have to officially accept and vote on your resignation. So,
but what if we don't?
We all say that a lot, and we always do votes.
Yes, there is free will.
There is.
There is. So I sadly move to accept Tessa Dowling's resignation as land use clerk.
And I will sadly second that. Any further discussion or questions?
I'll just put a pitch in for anybody who's interested in applying for the position. The ad went, I sent out the ad this morning to the Gazette, so it'll be running there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But I'll also post on the town website if anyone knows someone with experience in this field that could hopefully match what Tessa has been able to do, and Linda.
Yes.
And I've told Becky and Linda that whatever time someone gets hired, I will definitely make time to come back and help train them. Although I don't have the back education, the long time that Linda has, but I'm happy to do that too.
I see Jeff has, should we, April, should we take one more public comment? I see Jeff.
Yeah,
okay.
I think, yes.
Thank you, Tessa. Every time you were at a meeting, I would look at you on the Hollywood Squares thing, and I would say to myself, how long do we have this wonderful person? It can't be that much longer. Now the day has come, so I'm sorry to see you go. You've been great. And Linda, you've been great too before Tessa, and I just hope we can do somewhat as well our next hire. So goodbye and good luck, and have fun at Mount Grace.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. All in favor of accepting Tessa's resignation?
Stein, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye. Thank you, Tessa.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you all very much.
And be well.
Yes, and great. Have good luck and fun with all your new endeavors.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are on town administrator updates, and our town administrator seems to be on the phone.
I wonder what's
we'll give her.
Yes.
My apologies. That was Catherine. She forgot. So I'll just send her what I reported, and they will. So if the Board of Health has any issues with what we're proposing, they will let us know after their meeting tomorrow.
Yeah. And we have some flexibility and time to be able to change if we have to.
Yes, we do.
Yep. Okay, town administrator updates.
All right, tomorrow is the bid opening for the Locks Pond Culvert. So very much looking forward to that. The results of the gym roof replacement have come in and are lower than our original expectations. So we'll be able to amend the amount on town meeting floor on Saturday. I just need to, the bid came in at 231. I just need to make sure that it has sufficient contingencies.
Yeah.
In it, it might be that we want to add, do it for 240,000, depending. The engineers are reviewing it again for me, and we'll have the answer for that by Saturday.
Weren't we thinking closer to 300? Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, there were two bids, and the other bid was $183,000. So that upper limit wasn't that far off, but luckily a very well-respected firm, Capeway Roof, out of Westboro, has put in the bid. And I'm sorry, it's not Westboro, it's Westport. Westport, Massachusetts, and that Capeway Roofing is the name of the firm. But Capeway has a very good reputation. Our architect has worked with them before. They have a lot of experience in municipal school buildings and re-roofing buildings, and I think the bid is I'm really happy that we're able to get a low bid given the construction season being terrorized with talk of $50 pieces of plywood and $20 2x4s. I feel very fortunate on that. Another project I'm working on is the PFAS follow-up for our poor folks that the Watkins, who we drilled a new well for, that they've been using for this about 1.5 years at this point. And that well tested positively for PFAS. But they moved quickly. I delivered water immediately to their home, and they contracted with Clean Water, a company out of Springfield, who have came in today and have already put a new carbon filter in their home. They are going to test that for PFAS. They have a test in hand that they're going to do today and process it. And we're hoping that all is well. The cost of the carbon filter was $1,500.
$1,500?
$1,500.
Okay.
Which Board of Health had said it could be as much as $3,000. So given that there might be a number of homeowners in town that are going to require this carbon filter to be installed in their home, I'm glad to hear that the cost is closer to $1,500, not $3,000, $1,500. So we will be talking more with the Board of Health on that procedure. The Highway Department is using bottled water again, as is the fire station and the house next to the fire station as a precaution. We will be getting a contractor in to install the carbon filters in all 3 of those buildings. And we will, but we need a positive test first on the fire station well. So we are in motion to address the problem. I know it's bigger than just, potentially there's other people in town who have the problem, and we're looking at grant funding and figuring out the next steps on that issue. The next issue I'd like to talk about is we are moving towards a demolition of the cinder block building next to Town Hall. I had asbestos test was done last Thursday, and hopefully, yeah, we'll wait on the results of that test to know the full timeline of when we can proceed. Concom is scheduled to do a site visit there tomorrow. No, I guess they had to reschedule to next week because members were not available for Thursday. So that's is continuing, work is continuing on that project. Again, reopening, I'll be writing that up for the Board of Health and getting notices out to employees as to the change in status of Town Hall. And we will soon enjoy having the doors open all the time. Doors will be open for annual town meeting, but we're gonna limit traffic flow to the downstairs where the elections are and not have it the upstairs open at this time. Okay. I have gotten notices out about town meeting. The Board of Health followed with a more detailed update, I think today. And the tent will be delivered on Friday morning between 9 and 11 o'clock. I'm hoping that as many of you from the Finance Committee, Select Board, and Board of Health will help us do setup on starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday.
At 3? Okay, I'll put that down. I'm off all day, so if you need anything earlier, just let me know.
Okay, great.
Me too.
Thank you. Thank you. And hopefully Rita too. And so those are the most important things that I've been working on this week. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Becky, did you have a
yeah, there is one more issue.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. We just started the negotiations for the police union. And one question I have for the Select Board is to confirm whether or not we are negotiating a 3-year contract for the police department.
Why wouldn't
that I just want confirmation. There was someone brought up the issue of potentially doing just a 1-year contract, but that's not what we went into negotiations to do. And I don't want to create any bad will or with the police department. So I just need the select board to clarify the length of contract. As your understanding, we are still negotiating a 3-year as we normally would.
That would be my understanding.
And mine too. And so by guidance, Becky, do you need us to make a vote?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So I will move for the police union contract negotiations to be for a 3-year contract.
And I'll second that. Any further questions or discussion? No. Okay. All in favor?
Stein, aye.
Makepeace, O'Neill, aye. Thank you, Becky, for bringing that up. Any other updates? Oh, I have an update or a question related to town meeting, so I'm going to go back. You'll have our little script, our wonderful script with our names, which amendments or warrants were okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
And we're all dressing alike.
I don't know. It depends on the heat.
It doesn't look bad. Actually, Saturday looks like 70s and overcast. So I think
it's good. Okay.
I think it'll be good.
Okay. It will be.
Yeah,
it will be. It'll be exciting to have another one outside.
Well, and I also just want to appreciate how much extra work this is on our town administrator, and in addition to the other, employees who are helping, and volunteers, just the amount of thought, organizing. It's a huge amount of work. Town meeting is in and of itself, but having it under a circus tent, getting everything in order and making sure the weather is good. It really, thank you so much for your extra work.
That's your job.
What was that? I can't do that.
The good weather is the select board's job.
All right. We're on it, right?
Right. We'll have to do a sun dance or something. April.
A cloud dance, not too hot dance.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this may be
it's a big undertaking. It is a big undertaking.
It's huge.
Yep. The MLP board, Jim Hemingway and Graham Sefton were here today, working to set up internet for the event that will be 3 times as powerful or 4 times as powerful. They tested all over the field, so people should hopefully people will be able to get internet service. I know the town clerk has flagged the issue that our website is not as good with cell phones as it is with regular computers. So hopefully that won't be a problem if people can make sure to have their documents available on whatever device they bring. That would be great. We will have a number of budgets, warrants, and papers available for people this year. Then that's opened up quite a bit. I did mail out about 48 copies of the budget and warrant to individuals that have been identified as not having internet service. If there's anyone else that does not have internet that anyone knows that needs a copy of those documents, please have them call me so we can make sure they get them, and then come to town hall and pick them up at this point, because they probably won't make the mail. So,
okay. Well, thank you, Becky, for all of that. Anything else we need to know before we head into our executive session?
I think we're in good shape. Linda,
okay.
Do you have any other issues, Linda?
No, I don't. I think the only no, I don't. Nope, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to pause for a second because I want to make sure. Do I hear a motion to go into executive session for reason number 2? And I'll read that out loud. To review meeting minutes from our April 30th, 2021 meeting held to conduct a strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, specifically to conduct negotiations with our town administrator.
So moved.
Yeah, Linda.
I'm sorry.
I'll give you a second.
When you also have to decide whether you're adjourning the open meeting at this point, or
I think it's best for us to come back to open meeting and then adjourn in an open meeting session.
So do we have another link for this meeting? Is that on the website?
I think Becky's good. We were gonna instill a waiting room at this point.
Yeah.
So we'll kick everyone out and put a waiting room so that they'll need our permission to come back in. Okay, so you seconded it. All right, all in favor, remember roll call.
Stein, aye.
Makepeace, O'Neill, aye. Okay, Linda, are you all set for us?
Just give me 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, great. So now we have to confirm that the waiting room, wait a minute, there are people here.
Yep, no, I'm doing that.
Okay.
You got it, Melissa?
Yeah.
Found it too if I need to do it.
I got it, it's enabled. So if everyone's here, please, you'll have to exit the meeting and come back when we are finished. There'll be a waiting room. We will let you back in when we're done.
And there's books to read, right?
Sure, movies to watch.
Okay, so now how do we get to the waiting room, Melissa?
There's still
hold on. I'm putting these people in the waiting room.
Oh, perfect.
Let's see, it's me, you, Becky. Okay, we're all set. See if you click participants, you can see that there are 2 people in the waiting room.
And where's Michael? Because I can see Michael.
No, you can't.
I clicked on my thing. I refreshed. He disappeared.
Okay. Yeah. No, he's not here.
So we need to confirm that the waiting room is enabled and recording has been discontinued.
When do I discontinue? Right now, do you want to confirm waiting room is up and then I discontinue video?
Recording.
And I've shut my door here so no one can hear.
My phone's watching the news. No. Make it stop.
Nope. Becky?
I'm trying.
I love how it tells us that. All right, I will let him in. Are we ready?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you just have to, say at such and such time you're resuming open meeting.
Okay, I'll say that in open. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Give it a second. Okay. We are at, I have no clock, at 7:36, we are reopening in open session from our executive session. Okay. All right. And to just give a summary of what we discussed, we decided that all 3 members of the select board needed to be at the exec session and to read the minutes, which came to our attention that not all 3 members have read the minutes. So we are going to postpone this to another executive session where all 3 members can attend.
Are we taking public comment?
Yes, we can take public comment.
I don't think you're legally allowed to do that. I think it says you have to. At the next meeting. So you can check. I'm just mentioning it. It's not an unreasonable thing, but the way I read it was you had to review it, and I don't see it as that there's a reason not to do it. So if you have a quorum, I think the body's supposed to do it, but that's just my 2 cents from reading OML.
Well, I think we did have the quorum and we had a discussion. And that was the outcome of the discussion. Yeah. So I don't know that it, I think we can check into that.
Melissa, you did decide to do it at the next possible date, which is the 15th, and not wait till the 22nd of your next regular meeting.
Right, thank you. I didn't write that down. Yes.
Okay.
So it is at the next meeting.
Okay, I mean,
I know we can't share what we discussed, so
yeah.
So I'm going to leave it at that summary now. We will check into that, and it is going on our next meeting summary on the 15th.
Cool. I just wanted to say thank you for doing it. So as the person who asked for it, I'm fine with you doing it on the 15th. I just wanted, based on my read of OML, it seemed like you might have had to do that and you just were checking, but you know, the 15th is a reasonable time frame. So
I think we will definitely look into it. I think that's it. Look into it. If OML says we had to discuss it, which we did fulfill that. So, but anyway, we will be doing it on the 15th. Becky will help us look into the open meeting law, OML. I put OWL on my paper. Okay, make sure we're still in coordinates with that. Was there anything else that we needed that was unexpected? That was, I think we've got through our entire agenda.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Am I good? Okay.
Good.
Okay. So good. Friday, what time Friday?
3 p.m.
I can come before 3. I have to do my penance. So what?
Oh, your last one. That's right. You have to do penance.
I also have to leave right at the end of town meeting. I really need to, sadly. So I will get there. We'll be in touch. I'll have my people call you people.
Okay. That sounds great. Your people call our people.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you guys for getting through the agenda. I appreciate it. And I'll put that on, and you suggested putting it on at 5 o'clock.
Let's make it one of the first things.
Okay.
Get it out of the way.
Okay, I'll have to get off the beach by then.
Please, or you can bring us to the beach with you.
All right.
Use headphones.
Okay.
And sit like 80 miles away from anybody else.
Yeah, don't let me forget. Make sure I'll be there.
I know, then we'll have to do it another time.
Yes. And then, yes. Okay. All right.
I'll hound you. I'll track you down. Don't you worry.
Oh, I'm changing my number.
Reminders.
Wait till July 1st.
Okay. All right, guys.
Okay.
Hasta luego.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Oh, right. That's right. That's not the adjournment. Yes, I move to adjourn.
Okay. I'll second that. All in favor?
Stein, aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Done.
Yes, for the evening.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Be well.
Deep breath.